Assalamu alaikum. My name is Insia from class 2B. I will talk about animals, plants and fruits mentioned in the Holy Quran. There are 6 fruits mentioned in the Holy Quran. Dates, banana, olives, grapes, pomegranates and figs. Dates. Dates are the fruits of deserts. The fruit date has mentioned in the Holy Quran more than 20 times. In Quran, Allah Almighty says about dates. In Quran chapter 17 verse 91. Also chapter 50 verse 10 dates are mentioned. Banana. Bananas are the fruits of paradise. Allah Almighty says in Quran about bananas in Quran chapter 56 verse 29. Olives. Olives has been 7 times mentioned in the Quran. Its Arabic name is Zaitun. As Allah Almighty says in Quran about olives in chapter 95 verse 1. Grapes. Grapes are also mentioned in the Quran. As Allah Almighty says in Quran about grapes in chapter 23 verse 19. Pomegranate. Pomegranate mentioned 3 times in the Holy Quran. As Allah Almighty says in Quran, fig. Fig fruit is also mentioned in Holy Quran. There are 31 animals. There are 31 names of animals mentioned in our Holy Quran. There are more than 200 verses in the Quran dealing with animals, and 6 chapters of the Quran are named after animals or insects. Surah 2, Al-Baqarah, the cow. Surah 6, Al-Anam, the cattle. Surah 16, Al-Nal, the bees. Surah 27, Al-Naml, the ants. Surah 29, Al-Ankabut, the spider. And Surah 105, Al-Fil, the elephant. Their related verses and number of occurrences are ant, Namal, mentioned 3 times in the Holy Quran in 1 verse. Ape, mentioned 3 times in the Quran in 3 verses. Bee, Nal, mentioned 1 time in Quran in 1 verse. Bird, mentioned 18 times in Quran in 16 verses. Calf, mentioned 10 times in Quran in 10 verses. Camel, as Jamalu, mentioned 15 times in the Quran in 15 verses. 7. Cattle, mentioned 33 times in 31 verses. Cow, Baqarah, mentioned 9 times in the Quran in 9 verses. Crow, mentioned 2 times in the Quran in 1 verse. 10. Dog, Kalb, mentioned 5 times in Quran in 3 verses. Donkey, mentioned 5 times in Quran in 5 verses. Elephant, Fil, mentioned 1 time in Quran in 1 verse. Eel, mentioned 4 times in Quran in 2 verses. Fish, Hoot, mentioned 5 times in Quran in 5 verses. Fly, mentioned 1 time in Quran in 1 verse. Frog, mentioned 1 time in Quran in 1 verse. Goat, mentioned 1 time in Quran in 1 verse. Hoopoe, Hudhud, mentioned 1 time in Quran in 1 verse. Horse, Hayson, mentioned 6 times in the Quran in 6 verses. Lice, mentioned 1 time in Quran in 1 verse. Lion, mentioned 1 time in Quran in 1 verses. Locust, mentioned 2 times in Quran in 2 verses. Mosquito, mentioned 1 time in Quran in 1 verse. Mouse, mentioned 1 time in Quran in 1 verse. Mole, mentioned 1 time in Quran in 1 verse. Pig, mentioned 5 times in Quran in 5 verses. Quail, mentioned 3 times in Quran in 3 verses. Sheep, mentioned 3 times in Quran in 3 verses. Snake, Thoba, mentioned 5 times in Quran in 5 verses. Spider, Ankabut, mentioned 2 times in Quran in 1 verse. Wolf, mentioned 3 times in Quran in 3 verses. Animals are considered as gifts to humanity, praised for their beauty and help. So Islam has set kindness and mercy towards them as one of its founding bricks of values. Like the verses with horses, the camel is also praised. The Quran especially allowed the consumption of the meat of certain halal lawful animals. Pork is haram or forbidden to eat. Forbidden is also the meat of domesticated donkeys, mules, any predatory animal with canine teeth, and birds with talons. Thank you. Bye.